Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Donald Trump has dominated headlines like no other political figure in modern American history. From his Golden Tower in Manhattan to the Oval Office, from courtrooms to campaign rallies, every step of his journey has been followed by controversy. In this video, we're not here to take sides. We're here to look at the facts. The moments that divided the nation, shocked the world, and forever changed the landscape of American politics. These are Donald Trump's most controversial moments. It all started with a ride down an escalator. On June 16, 2015, Donald Trump descended the golden escalator of Trump Tower to announce his presidential candidacy. What followed would set the tone for everything that came after. In his announcement speech, Trump made remarks about Mexican immigrants, suggesting that they were, in his words, bringing drugs, crime, and calling some rapists. He added that some he assumed were good people. The reaction was immediate. Networks dropped his shows. Sponsors pulled out. NBC, Univision, Macy's all cut ties with him, but his poll numbers went up. The moment was a preview of Trump's political strategy, saying what others wouldn't, and watching his base respond with enthusiasm rather than outrage. Just 1 month before the 2016 presidential election, a bombshell dropped. The Washington Post published a 2005 recording from the entertainment show Access Hollywood, in which Trump was caught on a hot mic, making explicit and degrading comments about women, boasting about using his celebrity status to act inappropriately toward them without consent. The tape sent shockwaves through the Republican Party. Senior GOP members called on him to step down. His campaign was widely considered finished. Trump issued a rare apology, calling it locker room talk, and dismissed the comments as words, not actions. 11 days later, he won the election. For his supporters, it confirmed he was human and unfiltered. For his critics, it was disqualifying. For the country, it raised profound questions about what voters are willing to overlook. In August 2017, a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia turned deadly. A counter-protester, Heather Heyer, was killed when a car was deliberately driven into the crowd. The world waited for the president's response. When it came, it stunned many, including members of his own party. Trump condemned violence on many sides, and in a follow-up press conference, said there were very fine people on both sides of the rally, a rally organized by neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Trump and his allies later argued the comments were taken out of context, that he was referring to people protesting the removal of Confederate statues, not the extremists themselves. But the damage was done. Charlottesville became one of the most defining and debated moments of his presidency. In September 2019, a whistleblower complaint revealed that President Trump had a phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in which he appeared to pressure Ukraine to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, and Biden's son Hunter. Critics said this was an abuse of presidential power, using military aid as leverage for personal political gain. Trump called it a perfect call and accused Democrats of a witch hunt. The House of Representatives voted to impeach him in December 2019, making Trump only the third U.S. president in history to be impeached. The Senate, controlled by Republicans, acquitted him in February 2020. The trial polarized an already divided nation, and it would not be the last time Trump faced impeachment. When COVID-19 hit the United States in 2020, Trump's handling of the pandemic became one of the most contested issues of his presidency. He initially downplayed the virus, at one point comparing it to the seasonal flu and predicting it would disappear like a miracle. His administration faced criticism over the slow rollout of testing, conflicting public health messaging, and his highly visible disputes with his own health officials, including Dr. Anthony Fauci. At the same time, his supporters credited him with fast-tracking vaccine development through Operation Warp Speed, an effort that did produce vaccines in record time. The pandemic became deeply politicized, and Trump stood at the center of that storm from beginning to end. January 6th, 2021, a date that will be written into American history. Following his defeat in the 2020 presidential election, an election that was certified by all 50 states, verified by the courts, and confirmed by his own attorney general, Trump continued to insist the election was stolen. On January 6th, as Congress convened to certify the Electoral College results, Trump held a rally near the White House, telling thousands of supporters to march to the Capitol and fight like hell. What followed was an unprecedented breach of the U.S. Capitol building. Lawmakers were evacuated, windows were shattered, 5 people died in the events of that day. Trump was impeached a second time for incitement of insurrection, becoming the only president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. Once again, the Senate acquitted him, but the nation's wounds ran deep. The January 6th committee later concluded that Trump had been the central cause of the attack. Trump denied responsibility and called the proceedings a political vendetta. In May 2024, something happened that had never happened before in the 248-year history of the United States. A former president was found guilty of a crime. A Manhattan jury found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Trump called the verdict rigged, a political attack on a leading presidential candidate. His poll numbers once again did not collapse. In fact, fundraising surged in the hours after the verdict. In November 2024, despite being a convicted felon, Donald Trump won the presidential election for the second time, making him only the second president in U.S. history to serve non-consecutive terms. Whether you see Donald Trump as a disruptive force who shook a broken system, or a dangerous figure who tested the limits of democracy, one thing is undeniable. No political figure of the modern era has generated more controversy, more passion, and more debate. History is still being written, and wherever you stand, understanding these moments is essential to understanding the America of today. If you found this video informative, consider subscribing for more fact-based political content. And let us know in the comments, which moment do you think was the most controversial? We'll see you in the next one.